Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. I'm Lids, or Lydia. Today I want to show you how to make orange creamsicle meringue cookies. Absolutely delicious. I guarantee you probably never tried these. If you like orange creamsicles, ice cream, I know that's like one of my husband's favorites. Not really, because I don't really buy it very often for him, like never. Sorry, babe. But if you like orange creamsicles, this recipe is for you. It is so easy to make, a little bit time consuming just because of the oven baking part, but I'll get into that during the recipe portion. So if you guys want to learn how to make orange creamsicle meringue cookies, keep watching. Before I get into the recipe, make sure you guys are subscribed to my channel. Hit that red button, that's why it's there, waiting for you to click on it. And make sure you guys leave me a comment, give me a like, and let's go on with the recipe. To start off this recipe, you want to add 4 room temperature egg whites to a clean, dry mixing bowl. Make sure it is clean and there is no extra grease. I'm using my standing mixer, so it does all the hard work and I don't have to worry about my hands getting tired. So you just want to whisk the egg whites until they are foamy. And once they look something like this, I want you to go ahead and add in your lemon juice. Now I'm using vinegar, and I wish I wouldn't have because I felt like the vinegar kind of played off in the final product and I didn't like that. And then add in your cornstarch. Try not to get it all over the place like I did. I know you guys are going to do a better job than me. So get every last drop of cornstarch. I was kind of fighting with it, of course. Get that all mixed in and keep beating it until soft peaks form. It only takes a few minutes. My mixer is on high. Then go ahead and add in your granulated sugar, 1 tablespoon at a time. Now I'm using raw sugar, and I wish I would have thought this through, but if you're using raw sugar, you're probably going to struggle to get the sugar all melted. So you basically want your sugar to be completely melted before you pipe these cookies into meringues. And by using raw sugar, since the sugar is so coarse, it's gonna have a hard time melting into the eggs, so you might need to add a little bit of water. If you have this problem even with granulated sugar, you have the problem of the sugar not melting into the egg whites, you might just need to add a little bit of water until everything is nicely melted. A little bit of water goes a long way. So once I added all my sugar, I went ahead and started adding my orange JELL-O, 1 tablespoon at a time until it was completely gone. I used the whole package just because I wanted the orange flavor to pull through and the orange color. You could probably get away with adding a little bit of food coloring, but I didn't do that, so continue to beat that until nice stiff peaks form. Make sure you start preheating your oven to 225 degrees and prepare some baking sheets, line them with some parchment paper. Then go ahead and add this meringue to piping bags. You can also use Ziploc bags and just snip off the tip. I'm using like a star tip, I guess, a flower tip. I'm not really good with, like the piping terminology, but you can also just use like spoons and spoon it onto the parchment paper. So I started off with this little tip. I just pressed them out just so I can get the air bubbles out. And then I started piping my little meringues onto the cookie sheet. Now you'll see that none of my cookies are exactly the same because I'm not really good at piping. I'm still practicing, and I kind of was struggling because my baking sheets go up on the side. So if you have the flat ones, use those. You won't struggle as much. And you can also put a little bit of meringue at the bottom of your parchment papers so they will stay, but I didn't want to clean up. Next, I'm going to be using just a round tip, and I'm adding the meringue into the piping bag. You can use a Ziploc bag. I didn't try this method, and I really liked how these ones turned out with the round tip. So I went ahead and piped them. As you can see, they're crooked. Your first ones might be a little wompy. You might get like air pockets and stuff like that. Just try to make them the best you can. I'm also using 2 spoons and spooning them onto my parchment paper. But I think you get away with just using 1 spoon. I'm just trying different things, but I actually like these ones because they were so big. They might not be the prettiest things, but I did think they were like the funnest in the texture. So I went ahead and did a few like that. And then I went back to my piping using the round tip. Now you're going to get a lot of meringue. So I ended up using 3 baking sheets. You might get more or less. You can kind of place them next to one another because they're not going to rise in the oven or anything like that. They'll pretty much stay the same. So I went ahead and continued piping. I'll get some like really funny looking ones, kind of like this one. I don't know what happened there, but yeah, just continue to go and pipe all these. And then I did some more with the star tip, and you could probably see that the entire time I was struggling with the parchment paper moving. So Just make sure you add some of the meringue on the bottom of the parchment paper so it touches the baking sheets so the parchment paper won't move around, and make sure that you're using flat baking sheets because it does get a little bit frustrating when things are moving around and kind of ruining your cookies. So once those are all nicely piped, I mean, you're gonna have so much. You might even have to bake these in batches. You're going to want to bake these in the preheated oven at 225 degrees. I did add all 3 of my baking sheets. Bake these for 90 minutes. After 90 minutes, turn off your oven. Make sure you keep them in the oven for about 2 to 3 hours so they cool off completely. During this time, you do not want to open your oven at all. You want them to stay there and cool to room temperature. You don't want to open your oven because if you do, they tend to crack, or you know, the moisture might get in and you don't want to ruin them by cracking them. So just resist the urge and keep your oven door closed for 2 to 3 hours, and then you can pull them out. Next, while they're chilling, I mean, they're already chilled, I went ahead and melted my candy melts. You can use white chocolate, and I'm just using the double boiler method. You can use a microwave and just melt these in 30-second intervals. So I'm just going to add a little bit of water to my saucepan, and then I'm going to add my bowl with the candy melts on top of that and melt this until it is completely lusciously melted, and it looks something like this. Take your melted chocolate off of the stove top, and you can start dipping your meringue cookies into the chocolate mixture. Your meringue cookies should be pretty hard at this time. They shouldn't be soft at all. So go ahead and dip them into the chocolate. I'm dipping them from the bottom, and I had a hard time with this because since they were on the bottom, they wouldn't stand up when you put them upside down onto the baking sheet. So just dip them and shake the extra chocolate off. So I was struggling over here, and then my husband came up with a brilliant idea to dip the tips of the meringue cookies into the chocolate, which I thought was so genius. I wish I would have thought of that myself. So ladies, make sure you listen to your husbands. They come up with really good ideas. So I'm glad I listened to my husband. You'll probably notice that your chocolate is having a hard time setting up, and that is because the meringues are pretty much at room temperature and the chocolate is slightly warm. They won't set up right away, so they do take a little bit of time, which is quite frustrating since they don't harden up right away. So you want to be careful with them because the chocolate, if you touch the chocolate, they'll kind of like smudge, and you don't want that. So go ahead and dip all of your meringues into the chocolate. You'll have so many of these cookies. I mean, you won't even know what to do with them. That's how many come out, and you could definitely do this in batches, but it will take a long time just because you have to bake them and then you have to allow them to cool completely in the oven. So just do whatever works for you. That's why I placed 3 of the baking sheets in the oven. Yeah, so it just takes a long time. This is what they look like when they are done. I like that there was like a variety. There's like big ones, small ones. They didn't look all the same. Some were dipped on the top, some were dipped on the sides. I like that they are slightly tangy from the orange flavor, and they are hard and they just melt in your mouth. They're so delicious. But I didn't like that I did use the vinegar instead of the lemon juice. So make sure you're using lemon juice instead of the vinegar. I think the payoff will be so much better. These meringue cookies are absolutely a delight. They're super addicting. I hope you guys give them a try. They will melt in your mouth. They have like a nice orangey flavor to them. They burst in your mouth, and they just provide just absolute wonderful texture. If you're like a texture person, I think you guys are gonna like this. Make sure you guys make them. Tag me on Instagram if you guys ever do make any of my recreations. I would gladly appreciate them. So babe, did you like these orange creamsicle meringue cookies? Did they play up to your standards of your ice cream that I never let you get?
They did. I did like the orange tanginess to it. Just kind of reminded me of my childhood when the ice cream man would come down the street. Ding, ding,
I
ding,
remember.
Ding, ding, and I would run to go get my little orange cream popsicle and just down those suckers.
Fun fact, I remember that you and your brother and the ice cream man all the time. These kids would always go after the ice cream truck. It was crazy. It was like religious. Like they would come over our house and the ice cream man would come around and they would get ice cream. So some of you might think that our marriage was arranged. Maybe it was. I'll leave that up for debate. So I hope you guys give this a try. Thanks so much for watching. Make sure you guys are subscribed to my channel down below. Check out my other videos this way. And I'll see you guys next time. See ya. We were arranged.
We are arranged.